A mother was begging on the road. But she was hiding a big secret. The traffic light turned red at the busy intersection, and cars slowly lined up one after another, engines humming, people lost in their own worlds, and in the middle of it all stood a woman no one truly noticed. Her clothes were worn and faded, her hair unkempt, her face tired from endless days under the sun and nights in the cold. In her trembling hands, she held a simple cardboard sign that read, "Homeless. Please help. God bless." Most people avoided looking at her, some rolled up their windows, others pretended to scroll through their phones, and a few dropped coins into her cup without even making eye contact. To them, she was just another beggar, another unfortunate stranger whose story didn't matter. But what no one knew, what no one could even imagine, was that this woman was not what she seemed. Hidden inside her coat pocket was a small, worn photograph, and behind her quiet, broken appearance was a secret so powerful that it would change everything if the truth ever came out. Her name was Sarah Lawson, and she had not always lived like this. Just over a year ago, she had a completely different life. She was a respected professional working in a financial firm, living in a comfortable home with her loving husband Robert and their brilliant teenage son Michael, whose laughter once filled every corner of their house. Life had been stable, full of hope and normal dreams, until the day everything shattered with a single diagnosis: leukemia. It came suddenly, cruelly, and without warning. At first, they held on to hope as doctors assured them that treatments existed, that there was still a chance, and for a while, it seemed manageable because insurance covered the early stages, and Sarah remained strong, becoming the pillar that held her family together through every painful hospital visit and sleepless night. But as months passed, the treatments stopped working, the cancer grew stronger, and hope slowly turned into fear. Then came the option that felt like both a miracle and a curse, an experimental treatment that could save Michael's life but came with an unimaginable cost, a cost so high it crushed every possibility they had. Their savings vanished, their home was pushed to its financial limit, and the insurance company refused to cover the new treatment. It felt like the world had closed every door, leaving them with nothing but despair. That was when Sarah discovered something hidden deep within the insurance policy, a small clause that most people would overlook, but for her, it changed everything. It stated that if the parents were divorced and one parent qualified as low income, additional coverage could be granted. At first, it seemed impossible, even unthinkable, but as she sat alone one night, staring at the documents, the reality became painfully clear. This was the only way. To save her son, she would have to give up everything: her home, her identity, her family, and most painfully, her place in her son's life. The decision broke her in ways no one could see, but a mother's love does not measure sacrifice the way the world does. A week later, the divorce papers were signed, assets were transferred, and Sarah disappeared, leaving behind only a short note that said she couldn't handle the pressure anymore. To Robert and Michael, it felt like abandonment, like betrayal, like the strongest person in their lives had suddenly given up. But the truth was far more painful than anything they imagined. Sarah had not left because she was weak, she had left because she was strong enough to destroy her own life just to give her son a chance to live. From that day on, she erased herself completely, becoming invisible to the world, living on the streets, sleeping in abandoned buildings, and standing at intersections asking strangers for spare change. Every coin she collected had a purpose, every rupee and dollar carefully saved, not for food or comfort, but for the anonymous payments she sent to the hospital to help cover Michael's treatment. She endured hunger, cold, loneliness, and humiliation. All without ever letting her family know the truth, because if the reality was discovered, the insurance support could be taken away, and Michael would lose his only chance at survival. Every night, she returned to the broken building that sheltered her, counting her earnings under dim light, placing each coin into a small hidden tin box, and before sleeping, she would take out the photograph of Michael, tracing his face with trembling fingers, whispering softly that she was still there, still fighting for him, even if he believed she had abandoned him. Meanwhile, across the city, Michael lay in a hospital bed, growing weaker but still holding on to hope, often asking his father if his mother would ever come back, unable to believe she would leave without a reason, while Robert struggled with confusion and pain, unable to understand how the woman he loved could walk away during the hardest time of their lives. As winter arrived, Sarah's struggle grew harsher, the cold cutting through her fragile body, her strength fading, but her determination never breaking, because her son's life depended on it. Then one day, everything changed when a police officer who had quietly observed her for months approached her with a look that was different from the others, not judgment, not pity, but understanding. He had uncovered her truth, recognized who she really was, and for a moment, Sarah feared everything was over, that her sacrifice would be exposed and destroyed. But instead of reporting her, he listened, and then he told her something that shook her completely. Michael's condition was getting worse, and the current treatment was no longer enough. He needed something more, something far more expensive, something beyond what she could ever collect on the streets. In that moment, Sarah realized a terrifying truth: her sacrifice, as great as it was, might not be enough anymore. Her son didn't just need money, he needed her. And for the first time since she left, she allowed herself to consider going back, even if it meant facing anger, rejection, or consequences she could not escape. With a heart full of fear and hope, she made her way to the hospital, every step heavy with emotion, every second filled with uncertainty, until she stood outside his room, unable to move, terrified of what would happen next. Through the small window, she saw him, her son, weaker than she remembered but still her Michael, still the reason she had sacrificed everything. As if he could feel her presence, he looked up, and their eyes met, and in that single moment, everything stopped. The distance, the pain, the months of separation, all of it disappeared as he whispered one word that carried all the love in the world: Mom. And just like that, the truth began to unfold, not as a story of abandonment, but as a story of a mother who gave up everything, even her own place in her child's life, just to keep him alive, proving that sometimes the greatest love is not seen, not understood, and not recognized, but it is always there, silently sacrificing, waiting, and hoping for one more chance.